Hey Emma, what's poppin'? You looking Gucci today, no cap.
Leo, what on earth was that? You sound like a 14-year-old TikToker who's had way too much caffeine.
I was just trying out my new slang. Don't you think I sound lit?
Honestly, you sound like you're having a midlife crisis, and that is exactly why we are recording today's episode.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about a huge challenge for B2 level speakers, American slang versus standard English.
This is the danger zone for English learners. When you reach level B2 or upper intermediate, you have enough vocabulary to start using slang, but you often don't have the social compass to know when it's cool and when it's just cringy.
Exactly. Using slang can make you sound like a native, but using it in the wrong situation can make you look unprofessional or just plain weird. So today, we're going to look at the most common American slang terms and compare them to their standard English counterparts.
We'll break it down into 3 scenarios: the workplace, hanging out with friends, and meeting new people. Let's get into it.
Let's start with a classic that has really saturated the culture. The word bet.
Oh, I love bet. It's so short and satisfying. In standard English, we would say, certainly, I agree, or that's a plan.
But if you're a B2 speaker in a business meeting and your boss says, "Can you finish this report by Friday?" and you just say, "Bet," your boss might look at you like you've lost your mind.
Right. In a professional setting, stick to standard English. Sure, I can do that. Or consider it done. Save bet for your friends when they suggest going to grab a burger. Want to go to Five Guys? Bet.
It is fascinating how this word evolved. Linguists trace usage of bet back to African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, in the 1980s and 90s. It was likely a shortening of you bet, or you can bet on it. It moved from a phrase about wagering money to a general affirmation.
That is a great point about AAVE. A massive percentage of what we consider Gen Z slang today actually originates from Black culture. It often stays within that community for years before the internet picks it up and spreads it globally. That adds a layer of complexity for learners. You aren't just learning American slang, you are often learning specific cultural dialects.
Let's move to another one that confuses everyone, and the one I embarrassed myself with earlier. Cap and no cap.
Lying or I'm telling the truth.
If you're telling a story to your buddies and it sounds unbelievable, you add no cap at the end to show you're serious. I literally saw Keanu Reeves at the grocery store today, no cap.
But again, if you're in a serious situation, let's say you're explaining a mistake to your teacher, and you say, I did my homework, no cap, it sounds very childish. At the B2 level, you want to show maturity. Use to be honest or I'm telling the truth.
This term actually has a surprisingly deep history. While it became viral through hip-hop artists like Chief Keef in the early 2010s, the use of to cap, meaning to exaggerate or to lie, dates back to the early 1900s. It originally referred to capping a story or trying to top someone else's tall tale.
That historical context is vital because it explains why these words feel so permanent. They aren't just internet trends that vanish in a week. They have roots. Speaking of roots, Leo, what about the word sick? This one is a permanent resident in American slang.
It's so confusing for learners, because in a textbook, sick means you have a fever and you need a doctor. But in American slang, it means amazing, cool, or impressive.
That car is sick. That was a sick guitar solo.
Here's the rule for B2 speakers. Only use sick for objects or experiences, never for people in a professional way. And remember the standard English alternative: impressive or remarkable.
If you're at an art gallery, say, this painting is remarkable. If you're at a skate park, say, that trick was sick. This is what linguists call semantic amelioration, when a word with a negative meaning, like bad or wicked or sick, evolves to mean something positive. It usually starts as a form of rebellion.
It is the linguistic equivalent of wearing a leather jacket. You use a word that means vomit or illness to describe something good because it signals that you are outside the polite mainstream. It is countercultural.
Let's talk about a big one for social life. To vibe or vibe check.
To get along with someone or the atmosphere of a place.
If you're meeting a potential roommate, you might say, I really vibe with this person. But in a job interview?
No, please don't. In an interview, use standard English. I think I would fit in well with the company culture, or I have a good rapport with the team. It means the same thing, but it shows you understand the professional context.
This brings us to the concept of code switching. It is a term sociologists use to describe how we change our language based on who we are with. Everyone does it.
You do not speak to your grandmother the same way you speak to your best friend.
For a language learner, mastering code switching is the difference between being fluent and being socially competent. A 2024 survey by Preply actually found that while Gen Z is bringing more slang into the workplace, there is still significant friction. Older colleagues often find terms like vibes or bet in emails to be unprofessional or confusing.
Okay, Emma, let's address the elephant in the room, the word bro.
Bro, dude, man, guys.
In America, bro is everywhere, but as a B2 speaker, you have to be very careful. If you call everyone bro, you might seem like you're trying too hard to be American.
Especially with women or people older than you. While some girls call each other bro now, it's still risky. A safe standard English alternative? Just use their name. Or if it's a group, everyone or hi guys is usually safe.
Let's look at some action slang. For example, to ghost someone.
This is actually a slang word that has become almost standard English because we use it so much. It means to stop communicating with someone suddenly.
She ghosted me after our third date.
Even in a professional context, you might hear this, but it's still better to use to lose touch or to stop responding. The client has stopped responding to our emails sounds much better than the client ghosted us.
We see this happen with psychological terms too. Words like gaslighting or toxic started as clinical descriptions but have morphed into slang. If you disagree with a friend, they might say you are gaslighting them, even if you are just stating an opinion. For a B2 learner, I would advise sticking to the literal meanings, unless you are very confident.
What about for real?
That's a great one. It's a filler and a question at the same time. Standard English, seriously, or indeed.
If someone tells you a shocking fact, you say, for real, it's very natural. But if you're in a formal debate, use, are you certain, or is that actually the case?
Leo, I have a theory. I think B2 speakers should use the 80-20 rule.
Tell me more.
80% of your speech should be clear, standard English. This shows you have a strong foundation. The other 20% can be these flavor words like vibe, for real, or basically. This shows you're not a robot.
I like that. It's like salt. A little bit makes the food better, but you don't want to eat a bowl of just salt.
Exactly. If you're a B2 speaker, your goal is clarity. Slang is often regional. If you learn slang from a rapper in Atlanta and then you go to a business meeting in Seattle, people might not even understand you. Standard English works everywhere.
Let's do a switch exercise. I'll give you a sentence full of slang and you translate it into B2 level standard English for a professional environment.
I'm ready. Bring on the slang.
Yeah, I'm totally beat. This project is low-key driving me nuts, but it's whatever. I'll grind it out.
I'm actually quite exhausted. This project is becoming a bit frustrating, but that's okay. I will work hard to finish it.
Wow, you sounded so employable.
And you sounded like you needed a nap. See the difference? Both were correct, but one builds a professional image and the other, well, it doesn't. Notice how I translated low-key. That is a tricky one. In slang, low-key means secretly or kind of. In a formal sense, we often just use qualifiers like somewhat or slightly.
Let's do one more. He's such a goat for fixing my laptop. He really came through.
For our listeners, GOAT means greatest of all time. So the translation is, he is incredibly helpful for fixing my laptop. He really helped me when I needed it.
Perfect. Now, where can our listeners find the right slang?
Don't look at slang dictionaries. They are usually 5 years out of date. By the time a word is in a dictionary, it's already uncool.
The best way is to listen to modern podcasts like this one, or watch Netflix shows set in the present day. Listen to how people of your age speak.
That's the key. If you are 40 years old and you start using Gen Z slang like slay or tea, it's going to look very strange. Match your slang to your age and your environment. There is nothing more awkward than what the internet calls fellow kids energy. Older people trying desperately to sound young.
We've been talking for 20 minutes, and basically we've given you the roadmap to using slang without looking like a fool.
I'm of the opinion that standard English is your best friend, but slang is that fun neighbor you visit on the weekends.
Well said, Anna.
Your homework for today? Find one American slang word you've heard recently, write it in the comments, and then write the standard English version next to it.
We'll tell you if you're using it correctly or if you're capping.
Thanks for listening to Leo and Emma. If you enjoyed this, share it with your bros and besties.
Subscribe for more tips on how to sound like a natural, high-level speaker.
See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
See ya!